Earlier this week, I went to a local coin shop that's been in business since the late 1970s. It checks every box for me. Great vibe, down-to-earth owner, wide variety, fair prices, proximity to my home. Why all coin shops aren't like this one, I can't tell you, but I can't wait to tell you about my visit and show you what I picked up. But first, let's roll the intro. Now, when I say local, you have to understand, living in California, Southern California specifically, the word local has a different meaning to different people. Things are pretty spread out around here, and I don't actually have an LCS that's on my way home from work. So for me, I define local as anywhere from down the street to approximately 25 miles away, maybe 30 max. If a location is within that drive radius, I consider that local. So before I get into today's pickup, let me give you some perspective. My most local LCS is about 10 miles from where I live. But here's the thing. It has a very small inventory, very limited supply of things I like, such as world coins, like Maple Leafs, Krugerrands. They have 2 trays of collectible coins, and that's it. And what generic rounds they don't have out. I have to ask, and they're usually kept in a drawer, and it's just whatever they happen to have on hand. Last time they had some generic RMC rounds. Another time they had some Buffaloes, and that's fine. It's a coin shop. He seems nice enough, but when I'm there, I have to tell you, I just sort of feel like I'm at a kiosk at a mall, if that makes sense. So suffice to say, I haven't been back in a while. A second LCS I've shopped at a few times in the last couple months is about 25 to 30 miles from my house. Their website said they're family owned and operated. They had really good Yelp reviews, so I checked it out. They had more of what I was looking for. The prices were better than the big online vendors, but the layout of the shop is really not customer friendly. If you can imagine a waiting area near the front of the store, and then in the back of the store, there's like 3 desks where the owners sit, and that's basically the layout. Instead of display cases full of glass shelves with coins, they have a few laminated product sheets laying out with pictures of coins, rounds, bars, and their current prices. I actually asked why none of their coins or other products are out in plain view, and one of the owners said it's due to risk of snatch and grabs. Still, it's just not customer friendly. I mean, it's very sterile, like you're in a doctor's office, or like I feel like I'm waiting to do my taxes or rent some car or something. It just doesn't give you the coin shop vibes. They say 3's a charm, because my most recent LCS visit was so cool. The first thing I noticed before I even drove there was I was reading the Yelp reviews, and everybody had positive things to say about this place, and the owner personally responded to every single review with the friendliest of comments. I emailed him about his store hours, and he replied within 5 minutes. Then I drove there about 25 to 30 miles. Took about a half hour, but man, it was super worth it. Even the location is cool. Imagine a quiet, humble strip of retail stores in a suburban neighborhood. From the outside, all the shops have sort of a rustic Western look. It's kind of like perfect for a coin shop. Kind of reminds me of like a 49ers outpost or something. It's got that kind of vibe. As soon as they buzzed me in and I laid my eyes on that shop inside, I knew this is the coin shop I've been looking for. Not a tiny kiosk pretending to be a coin shop, not an empty shop with laminated sheets with pictures of products. We're talking real coins everywhere. Every square inch of this place is being utilized. There were glass display cases with shelves full of rare coins, bullion, baskets of junk silver, world silver, silver rounds, trays with silver certificates. On another wall were shelves with books. I mean, it was wall-to-wall products. After a kind hello, I just kind of geeked out. I looked at it all for quite a long time. The owner was just as friendly in person as he came across on those Yelp comments and his email to me. He let me shop in peace, and when I had a question, or in my case several, he was super quick to help. Honestly, I felt like a kid in a candy shop. That's the kind of feeling I want to have when I'm shopping for coins. Coin shop owners, take note. What is the feeling tone in your shop? Does it make people want to stay? So what did I pick up? All right, so let's check it out. All right, check this out. One thing I knew I wanted to get was some more junk silver. And what was cool about this shop is the junk silver was in a basket, and the owner just took it out and let me paw through it and pick dates and pick things I liked. So I added a good $5 face out of those. And then I also wanted some Ben Franklin's. I really dig Ben Franklin. Super cool. What a great leader. I mean, the library system, super cool. So I got another $5 face of those. And then I figured, okay, I need some dimes, but I really wanted some Mercury dimes. And it's super cool. He already had like $5 face already kind of pre-picked out and bagged up. So I just grabbed $5 face of those. I knew I needed to add a little gold weight, and I'm very impatient and I'm not waiting for an ounce. I know I feel bad sort of, but at least I've got some gold. So I picked up 1/10 of an ounce. He didn't have any gold eagles, but he did have a Britannia, and I really like Britannias. I think they're really awesome. So I picked one of these up. It's just 1/10. Also, I just sort of let my eyes wander around a little bit. He had his world coins, so I picked up another Krugerrand. This one's a 2022 silver Krugerrand. You've all seen that before, I'm sure. But then this one was super unique. He said it would be a little extra. The Republic of South Korea design was a little more. But I thought the design was super awesome. I've been to South Korea probably 10 or 12 times in my life, and I just really dig the history. I love their lore. This is a really cool mask. I did a little searching for what this means, so I thought I could read it to you. It says the obverse side of 1 ounce silver 2017 South Korean, it's pronounced Z-Sin, Gallus metals, features a depiction of Doge-bi, known as a hobgoblin-like figure in Korean culture. Doge-bi's face was often used on homes to help ward off evil spirits. The mythical god of war, Chiwu Chenwang, used the face of Doge-bi on his shield in battle to further frighten his enemies. And that's the mask. There's the front, and then there's a pretty cool security feature right there. I think when you turn it just right, it's AG for silver. And it says it's 999 silver, Republic of Korea, 1 clay. Don't know what that means, but it's 1 clay. And then here's the reverse. So it says on the reverse is the depiction of Gallus, the first warrior to feature in the Z-Sin series from Kamsko. Gallus watches the west for the rise of evil. He is depicted in this design with full battle armor on and a long spear in hand. There he is. Gallus can foresee the future and can control bright lights as the messenger of light to blind his enemies on the field of battle. So there he is. And then one last thing I said, I know like all collectors have the most common US coin, the Morgan, and I admitted that I don't have even one Morgan. My only memory of Morgans is when my dad would carry one. I don't even know if he still carries it. I'll have to ask him. He carries a Morgan around in his pocket. And I remember the last time I looked at it years ago, it was just so worn. It looked like a slug. But I said, hey, like, do you have one that's not like super expensive and not one that's super cheap that looks good, a good example of a Morgan? And he went in his safe and he pulled a few out, and I like this one. This was 1886. It happens to be the year that Coca-Cola was invented. And for you Coca-Cola fans, here's a little fun fact. Back on May 8th of 1886, the world's first Coca-Cola was served at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia. It was the creation of Dr. John Pemberton as a tonic for common ailments. He likely had no idea what was in store for his product, the company, and an industry that would grow into the giant that it is today. So 1886, there you have it. So that was my haul. But then I asked him, hey, what's a good book that you would recommend to, say, a new stacker? And he said, oh, you got to get the Red Book. And so he said, why don't you go pick one out? Pick one from like, the most recent year, because the earlier ones are more expensive. But he actually gave me this one. This was the most recent one he had, a 2013. And he said, here, just take it. And so what a generous guy. I mean, he gave me a book. The value, $16.95. or in Canada in those days, it was $16.84. But anyway, super nice of him to give me that. So that was pretty awesome. And I've been reading a little bit of it already. It's really cool. It kind of has a little welcome to numismatics. And then it just goes in from the earliest coins, colonial, and then it kind of goes basically to the most current, talks about bullion values, gets into private and territorial gold. I'm sure most stackers have one of these. I'm just late to the game when it comes to having one. But funny thing is, I remember when I was a kid, I remember having one because I did start collecting when I was young, but I didn't stick with it. And I can remember having a red book, but in my memory, it was huge. And I don't know if it was because it was a hardcover like this, or it was just bigger, or my hands were so small that it just felt really big. Because this actually feels kind of small, really. It couldn't be more than 9. It's about 8 inches, probably about 6 inches across. So it's small for a hardcover, in my opinion. But as a kid, I probably thought it was pretty big. Yeah, so it was pretty kind of him. I got to admit, that was super cool. And I really like this owner. I think if you're ever in the area down in Southern California, you got to check out Coin Corner. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and maybe even leave a comment. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about what you like about a coin shop. What makes you want to return and go back? What is the ideal coin shop for you? What's the vibe? Can you describe the vibe? And if you're a coin shop owner, maybe take heed and listen to some of the opinions of some of these folks, because, you know, we're your customers and I imagine you want us to return and come back. So thanks so much for watching. As always, dream big, dream often, and then go do it. Metal Scholar over and out.